Ruth Hansom. I'm head chef for the Princess of Shoreditch, and this year I'm judging Young Chef, Young Waiter. It's really honourable to be asked to join the judges panel for Young Chef, Young Waiter. I was judging last year as well. I had Tom Aikens beside me, Theo Randall, big names. It was really lovely to be asked. A different competition as well to judge. There is chefs and there is waiters, and seeing how they work together is also a big part of judging the competition. I think what I'm most looking forward to seeing is kind of their individuality. I think with every competition, you want to see people's different flares. They're not just cooking the same dish that they would cook every day in a restaurant. It's what they want to cook and what they love to do. I think that's really nice, but also seeing the way that they interact. Obviously, that's usually something that maybe a head chef would do and a head waiter. They're going to end up being the 2 points that connect, but giving them that chance and seeing how they interact as well. I think competitions like this are really, really important to the industry. Obviously, it gives the young chefs and the young waiters, a chance to grow confidence, build friends as well. I think it could be quite a lonely industry, especially in London. So they can build connections, and confidence is a huge one. I've seen people kind of come back from competitions, and even if they don't do so well, they've got this newfound confidence within the kitchen and within the team, and that only helps them as chefs and then obviously their employers as well. Obviously the hospitality industry has taken a massive hit this year, but it's been really nice to see kind of those people that are still looking to do things, still looking to help people. There's kind of been the Only Pavement Away scheme with Tom Aikens, and so many people got involved in that, and still, so many people in the hospitality industry still donated, even though we were the ones out of work. And I think just really shows kind of what a great bunch of people the hospitality industry is. So I don't think hope is lost. I think everyone has that driving force, and even though there's so many factors that are kind of against everyone right now, everyone wants their business to survive. And I think, unfortunately some have and some will continue to close, but I don't think it's the end. I think lots of people are using this time wisely. They're developing what they can, and if they're in the position lucky enough to be able to still kind of run takeaways and run restaurant boxes, people are looking for alternatives and using their imagination, and I think it's been really amazing to see what everybody's doing. With the news in November and everyone's kind of in lockdown right now, we've started some restaurant boxes, so sending out things like beef Wellingtons, Sunday roast, things that people can get involved and cook at home. We've filmed some little videos for people to cook along with. But also, obviously, there's still lots of competitions going on, so I think for those of you that have entered Young Chef, Young Waiter, it's a great time. I think probably more than ever, you've got to use it. You've got to use all this time, practice as much as you can. I think you're very lucky, actually. You're going to have all this time to practice. So yeah, you just use it wisely, and when it comes to competition day, you'll be able to smash it. I think definitely the impact of COVID has kind of made people want their comfort food, things that bring nostalgia, things that they know. Usually I think trends are kind of new things, and it's things that people haven't tried before, whereas I think we've kind of gone full reverse. People want something that they know. It's been such an uncertain year. People don't know what they can do from week to week. I think one thing that they can do is eat food that they know and they love, and that remind them of kind of happier times. So I think that will be it going forward. You can see kind of trifles coming back, like lasagna, shepherd's pie, that kind of thing. Maybe people put in a twist on it, but I think definitely people want flavours that they know and love. The dish that I've created using the Arla Pro grilling cheese is a marinated grilling cheese, and then I've grilled it on either side, and then on the top I've got some heritage beetroot which I've salt baked, some yeast flakes, which are kind of a little bit cheesy as well, because I think that kind of adds to it, but also has a bit of texture. Some pickled girole mushrooms, some endive for a little bit of bitterness, and some fresh apple. So I've used grilling cheese. In a way, I think it's self-explanatory. I'm grilling it, but I think it's really nice as a bed for all the other ingredients. It means that every mouthful that you're going to have a bit of the cheese. So the first thing I would do for this, which I actually did yesterday, because I think it's really important just to marinate it overnight to get all those flavours in there. On the pack as well, there's kind of a portion guide. I cut on there 2 slices, and I've just backpacked it with some rapeseed oil, some garlic and some thyme, and I've left that overnight. And then when it comes to it, I've got some tin foil. I'm going to cook my beetroot. They're going to take around 30 to 40 minutes in the oven. So I've washed them, but I'm leaving the skin on. I think it's really nice and it gets all the flavours inside. And then we'll peel that off after we've cooked it. It comes off super easy, we just rub it off. On my beetroots, a nice generous bit of thyme, a little bit of garlic, and then also some Malvern salt. And then we wrap that quite tightly, just like that. And then I'm going to bake it in the oven around 30 to 40 minutes. When the knife goes in cleanly, it's done. I've also got some endive, which I'm just going to prep, and then we'll dress it right before. So this is quite bitter. I think for the dish I just really wanted lots of different things. So I've got this for the bitterness, I've obviously got the cheesiness, I've got a black garlic puree which is quite sweet, and then apple which is nice and fresh. Once they've come out the oven, just rubbed it and the skin comes off. Super easy. And so these are chilled now, I'm going to dice them. The idea of this, I want everything to be quite small so that every mouthful you have, you're going to get a bit of everything. I think it's really nice to use all these different coloured beetroots when they're in season. They just look super pretty and they all have a little bit of a different flavour. So the golden one is really much more sweet than the other two. The pink one's kind of in the middle and then the red one's really earthy. So I think it's nice to use all three. Just got a few guys. Little tip, if you're doing the red beetroot, put a pair of gloves on. Otherwise, you're going to be walking around with red hands for the rest of the day. Next, I'm going to start to grill the cheese. I'm just going to turn it on. You want a medium heat. I don't want this to be black. You want to get a nice golden, and that's going to take a little bit of time. I don't need to oil the pan because I've already got my oil in the back of the bag. So now I'm going to put the olive oil grilling cheese into the pan. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to leave that now to get nice and golden on one side and then turn it over. I've got a Chardonnay vinegar dressing, so it's just rapeseed oil. I just dress my endives and then my little bits of beetroot. Cheese and apple is a winning combination. I'm using Granny Smith. I think it's quite sharp and that's what you want for this dish. The size and portion that I'm doing, I think would be nice as a starter. If you give a little bit more beetroot, a little bit more of the olive oil grilling cheese, I think it could definitely be a main course as well. There's enough going on. So I'm going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. It's really important for the texture as well as the appeal of how it looks. You want to get this warm all the way through as well, just to soften it slightly. So I'm cooking this for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. That'll just get it warm all the way through. It's going to be nice and soft in the middle and have a nice crust on each side. Doesn't need any longer than that. And potentially if you do it on a kind of like a charcoal, an even more intense grill, it's going to be quicker to heat. So I'm going to turn the pan off and let that sit for a moment while we get everything else ready. So now we've grilled our olive oil grilling cheese on either side for about 3 to 4 minutes. All the rest of my garnish is ready and I'm going to plate it up. Put it right into the centre of the plate. I'm going to do a layer of big yeast. Just going to put it on, spread it out. So this adds like another layer of texture. Just put my beetroot out. The idea is that you're going to get a little bit of everything in every mouthful, so you want to make sure that when you're putting your things on top, you're really spreading them out and there's enough of everything. Just got my little endive leaves here that we've just dressed lightly. It's really nice to get quite a lot of height on this dish. I think having the grilling cheese underneath as well really helps that, kind of elevates the dish. Got my little pickled mushrooms, so adding some acidity. It's going to help put through the olive oil grilling cheese. And just a few little bits of pickled shallot. These are quite sweet in flavour. And a couple of walnuts. These add a nice kind of nutty. I think they work really well with beetroot and also really well with the olive oil grilling cheese. You can, if you have a nut allergy, leave the nuts off. You've got enough texture and enough of the flavours going in there if you need to leave that bit out. Finally, just our black garlic. And then lastly, our little apple batons. And that's it.